Hi, big welcome to the ones who have joined. We're just going to give it a couple of minutes till the rest of the people join in. So just bear with us for a few minutes. Thank you. Everyone. Now, even though a few of them are still getting added as we speak, because all of you were here on time, I think it's only fair to start. So I want to start by saying a big welcome to everyone here today and welcome to the No Code Technology webinar. Again, like I said, thank you for taking the time out to join us today and in such big numbers. I hope you are just as excited as we are to learn about this new form of technology and to discover what all opportunities it holds for us and what all opportunities we have to engage ourselves this summer. My name is Nimi and I've been working with the Explorers Lab for the last 5 years. The main reason why I joined Explorers Lab and why I love what I do is that every year around this time, I would have my bags packed and I would be ready to go to different destinations with a great group of people like yourselves, to pursue our passion or to discover your interests. However, this year, as we all know, things are a little different. However, I want all of us to reflect on the way things are. Even if things are different, doesn't mean that our opportunities are limited. Here at the Explorers Lab with our partners EDINU, we want to bring the magic of technology, which can greatly enhance your skill set right to your doorstep this summer. So be tuned in. The next hour will be full of an action-packed webinar where we have, I think, somewhere close to 200 or plus students with some teachers and also some great experts who will be introducing, who I'll just introduce in a minute. Can we move on to the next slide? So before we begin, I just want to take a few minutes to tell you a little bit about the Explorers Lab. We at the Explorers Lab believe that learning and technology and everything has no boundaries. And this webinar especially is a perfect example to show you how learning can still happen in a boundaryless environment. We want to focus on cultivating the culture of curiosity in children. And we do this, if you can see the diagram, by the following ways: by industry engagement, by giving you real world experiences and boot camps. We have been in business since 2015 and we have traveled with 10,000 plus students over the past 5 years, and many of them have been from your school. A lot of you girls have joined us for our programs across the globe, so thank you for that. Earlier this year, we branded our company and added the word lab to our proposition, which basically is more reflective of how we feel. Lab is elaborated as learning through active participation in a boundaryless environment. So any learning that takes place without you actively participating in it is not worth it. We feel learning only happens when the student himself gets involved in the practice of learning. So this is, next slide, please. Sorry, thank you, Nanan. Our programs take the shape of technology boot camps, design thinking workshops, university experiences, internship opportunities, and many more. But today I'm very excited because we're going to be covering one of my favorite topics, which is technology and the way forward. For this, we have partnered with a very, very young and dynamic company in India called Edenu. And your coaches will be Ms. Vidisha and Mr. Mohammed. I will let them introduce themselves just right now. But a big thank you from my side again. And I'm going to pass over the ball now to Vidisha. She can introduce Edenu and what the webinar now will start. Enjoy everyone, and I hope you have a good time. And if you have any questions, you can just use the chat button to type in your answers. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nimi.
No problem.
Hello, everyone. My name is Vidisha, and can I share my screen now?
Yeah, go ahead. I need to stop sharing.
Yeah, that's fine, I guess.
Yeah, we're on.
Thank you. All right, is my screen visible?
It is to me. I think, yeah, go ahead.
All right. So today I'm gonna introduce you to a new world of no code, and I hope that you all are very intrigued with the idea of it by the end of the seminar, and I hope you like it. So we are your hosts for today. I am Disha, the head of marketing for Edenu, and I also have Naz with me, who is a no-code expert, and he'll be telling you a lot in detail about what no-code is, and will also give you a few demo about it. All right. So a small quiz before we start. How many websites are there in the world? Just take a wild random guess of all the 4 options and write it down in the chat box, whatever answer you think, A, B, C, or D. All right, I have a lot of answers. So yeah, the answer is D. We have over 1 billion websites in the world. That does seem like a big number. All right. Which one of the following is not a web browser? Firefox, Google Chrome, Schmidt, or Opera? Wow, we have a lot of responses. Yeah, the answer is right. Schmidt, it's not a web browser, whereas Firefox, Google Chrome, Opera, they're all web browsers. Okay. What is the most downloaded app worldwide? Facebook, WhatsApp, TikTok, or Instagram? Okay, I have again a lot of responses. So this is a bit tricky one. There's no one right answer. The situation keeps changing between Facebook and WhatsApp. So currently it is Facebook, but sometimes it can be WhatsApp or Facebook, that way. All right, so let's start with what I am here to tell you today. Okay, so if I ask any one of you that how do you print, right? I mean, if I have to ask you a step-by-step procedure of printing, how would you do it? Well, I mean, now that I can't hear you as such, I will just say that you'll say that I will select the portion that I want to print. I will give the print command, and then I'll have the printed document in my hand, right? That is the simple procedure of printing nowadays. But was it the same thing probably 100 years back or 200 years back? No. We used to write each and every page of a book. We used to write even the copies of a book we've written. That is how we started off. Then we went on to having a printing press that was used in the 1800s, in the 1900s, to print a lot of books. And now we've come to what we do now, which is a one-step command to printing any number of pages you want, any number of documents, any type of document that you want on any sheet of paper in the world. This is how we have gone from democratization of printing. How printing started and how we have it now shows a lot about the whole journey of printing. How it was a written procedure to now it's a one-step click and you have the desired document. That is the evolution of printing, right? Think about your favorite book, like let's say for example Harry Potter, right? A person in the US wrote that book, and now everyone in the entire world knows about its existence. We have so many 1 million books sold of so many authors. How is that possible? If we were to write each and every book, would we even have 1 million books right now of every author? The fact that printing has become so easy shows on the number of books that we have nowadays. For example, this is a statistics that in the 1810, there were only 10 books per 1 million people, whereas now we have over 13,000 books for 1 million people. This is only because the process of printing has become so easy. Okay, so let's take another example, movie production. Now, when I say movie production, what comes into your mind? That's basically how we build a movie, how we build a set of the movie, how we the cinematography of the movie, the cameraman, the spot boy, the actors, all of this is part of movie production. But the very important part that grabs the essence of movie production is shooting the movie, right? Now, how do you think that happened earlier and how do you think that happens now? If I have to go probably 150 years back or something like that, I would say that there was a huge camera that was in place and the shooting was restricted to a place. They could only move it to a few places. Everything had to be done in front of the camera. Camera could move, people had to move, and that is how it started. But now, what it has become, now you have the shooting of a movie, shooting of anything for that matter, has become so easy that you can do it with a click on your phone. The red button on your phone, that's all you have to press, and you can shoot a movie of yourself. How many times have we made a video for our friend's birthday, for our parents' birthday? The, the idea and the concept of video making has become so easy, right? Earlier, there had to be like people had to move from places to places with a huge chunk of their camera and then shoot a movie. Now you just move with your phone and you can make and shoot a movie in any part of the world. That's how the process of movie production has simplified so much, right? This is literally how it happened. There was such a big camera, people used to make set. Now you move with the camera moves with you, and now it's as simple as using your phone for the process. This is how the process of movie making has simplified. It is the idea of making movies through your phone is so common now that in film festivals you have a separate category of movies shot on phone. That is how easy and accessible this has become. It is no more a concept of those who have money and those who can buy equipments are the only ones who can make movies. It has become accessible to all. That is the idea of democratization of movie production. Okay, so this is what is happening now. Number of new feature films per year in the 1920s and before that, it was 1900 movies in a year. And now we have over 11,000 movies every year. Like every next actor is, we have a movie coming out every next month, every next weekend, we have some of the other movie in the theaters. How is that happening? Because it has become so accessible, because it has become so easy. We have YouTube filled with short movies. How is that possible? Because it's become an easier procedure. Software development. Now, what is a software? Any program or anything in your computer screens, in your mobile screens, in your tablet, any program in that is a software. any application or website, all of that is a part of software. Now, if I have to ask you, and if you have to tell me, who makes these softwares? Who are the people who, make these things for us? Well, I mean, the answers would be an engineer, a person who does coding, and all of that. But that is how it used to happen in the earlier days. Like just now, how we see that things evolve from a more complex procedure to a more simpler one. This is what has happened with software development as well. The fact that we used to write and learn pages of coding and use apps like C++, Java, and all of these things is not needed anymore. We do not have to hog ourselves for 4 years to learn the whole idea of engineering and then end up making an app. We don't have to do that anymore. The process of software development has become very, very easy. And this is where I introduce you to the concept of no code. No code is a concept where you do not need to be using coding or any of these apps called C++, Java, or Python, or any of these things, and you can make an app of your own, and you can make a website of your own. So there are so less engineers in the world, and out of that, even less are the people who know coding. So it's an estimation that by the year of 2025, we're going to have these many softwares coming up. And I think we can double this number if the number of people who know how to make softwares are doubled, right? Right now, 99.7% of the people in the world do not know how to code. So this is as good as saying that 99% of the people in the world don't know how to write. How do we expect these people, their ideas to ever come up front if they don't know how to write? So many people, if they're deprived of this beautiful world of software, how do we expect them to create these amazing things, these amazing ideas that they have? So as a generation that grew up with softwares everywhere, you can't be limited to create one because you can't code. If something as important as softwares, like something that surrounds your daily life, you don't know something, you Google it. You want to see a video, you YouTube it. You want to post something, you Instagram it. You want to post something else, you Facebook it. And everything has become so easy. A software is literally a part of your life now. And there's so many ideas that we have on a daily basis on how we want to improve an app, on how we want to create an app that will make things more accessible for other people. And you are sometimes stopped by the idea of like taking it forward because you can't code. You don't know how to make an app. You don't know how to create a website. And that's all because you can't code. Well, there is a possibility that you can do all of that without coding. And that is the world of no code. You design it, you build it, and you launch it. It's as simple as, let's say, creating a PowerPoint presentation now. I'll show you a video.
Today, the world runs on code. Every text you send, every website you visit, every screen you swipe, it's all driven by code. Code that only a fraction of the world can even understand. And that's a problem. Imagine if only 1 out of every 400 people knew how to write. Think how many world-changing ideas would have never seen the light of day. We'd be stuck in the dark ages. And when it comes to software development, we kind of are. So what if, instead of writing hundreds of lines of code to add new features to your website, you could just design them directly on your website? What if you could create the next world-changing product without writing a single line of code? That's the future for creators, and it's about to change everything. It's time to unleash the power of software development to everyone by making it visual, so anyone can harness the power of code to build a website, an app, or an entire business without actually writing it. At Webflow, we're doing exactly that. We're empowering creators to design, build, and launch amazing things. No code required. Welcome to the future of software development.
All right. All right. Now
Today,
we're gonna have Mr. Nazmu. He's the senior product manager at Vadhwani Foundation, on the board of trustees of AFS, founder of the Radical Exchange Bangalore chapter, a qualified intercultural learning trainer, winner of the MarkerPad Automation Challenge, and runner-up of Product Hunt Makers Festival 2019. In his free time, he advises startups and does stand-up comedy. So I'm going to ask you to share your screen now and like show people how the world of no code is.
Thanks, Vidisha. I'm just going to start sharing my screen. Can you stop sharing?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Mohammed Najmuzaman. You can call me Naz, Najmu, Mohammed, anything. Because enough has already been said about no code, I'm not going to go into what no code is. I can tell you why I got into no code. And it was about 8 years ago when I was in engineering college, and I had like a bunch of ideas in my head, and I did not want to, I was just lazy. So I did not want to spend time writing code for every idea I had, because quite frankly, what happens is every idea sounds like a $1 billion idea in our head, but when you actually build it and execute it and give it out to users, give it out to customers, what happens is they give you a reality check, and then you realize that what I actually thought of is not really something that's going to be groundbreaker, and I have to probably change my idea or start from scratch or take that feedback and keep improving on it. And if you want to do that through code, it might take you years, right? Like just building one app completely on code. For example, I built a social network on code in college, and it took me about 3 months to build that whole thing. But then I came across no code, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. The whole thing that I built in 3 months, I could actually build it in a day or over a weekend. And I'm not kidding. I can actually show you. So what I'm going to show you is, I'm not going to talk about what no code exactly is or what it means, but I'm going to actually show you what no code can do, and then how can you take advantage of no code. Because what's important is that anything you want to build, so let's say in the future you want to become an entrepreneur, you want to build your own startup, or you want to work for a company where you're building something great for the world, right? So what is more important is that you get feedback from your users, you get feedback from your customers in advance, and you get that feedback as soon as you can, instead of trying to build something for a year and then you realize that, oh, this was all waste because no one wants it. So you don't want that, right? So you want to spend less time and less resources on these things. So let me start from something. For example, this is a very simple website I built. This is called OmSpace. And this website is, if you have come across this company called Fit Reserve, and also this, they're both in the US, and Allo Moves. This is a company that actually does a lot of healthcare or health wellness classes, right? So this is a pretty simple website. I come in here, I see that there's a login and join button. This is a standard website that you will see, right? Whenever you come across something, I can see the classes, who are the instructors. There's some information. I can go ahead and select one of these things, or pay by class, and continue. I have some information here. If I click on join now, the sign up form comes in, and then I can see a few of these classes that are available. If I want to know more information, I just click on know more. I can see the instructors that are available. Even if I want to go to these classes, for example, let's say I just click on this one, it takes me to the details of these classes. And then I can say what are the areas they can help me with. Great. So, and I can go and see the instructors on all the classes, log in and join. Now, if you're trying to build this in code, this would take you about a month or 2 months, or if it really new to code, it could even take you like 3 to 4 months to build the whole thing. For me, just to build these pages, it just took me a few hours, right? And how did I do that? I did that using this, my favorite no-code app, which is called Bubble. And this helps me build any kind of website, any kind of web app, just by dragging and dropping things. So I don't have to write any piece of code. So how do I do it? It's pretty simple. For example, what is this? This is something, this is just a box, a shape I dropped from the left side menu. So you can see this menu. I just dropped something from this menu. I got a button from this menu, and I can, if I want, I can put a button here and it will start being visible. I can go and change the name of button. Right, so it's as easy as drag and drop. So previously what used to happen is you would hire a front end person. Front end means whatever you see in front, the design, and you would actually get someone, hire someone so that, when you hover in the button, then the button changes color, and then there is some animation, and you would have to actually write code to do that. Right now, all I have to do is just drag and drop here, change some properties, and that's it. So if someone of you has used Paint, or if you have used even like Google Sheets, it's as simple as that. And I can show you how you can even do things from Google Sheets. So all of this is just text, right? I just drag and drop text from here and I put it here. So that's as simple as design. I can change it to bold, and I can do italic. So basically, if you're trying to build something on, let's say, Google Docs, it's kind of like you're building something with Google Docs or PowerPoint, right? So I put all of that stuff. And what you need to know from the basic is that when you're building a web app, and there's a difference between a website and a web app. This is how much you will get from a website. You'll see what's in the front, you'll get some information, maybe there'll be a form in the end and the contact address, and you fill that and it goes to the email of the person. But a web app is a little bit different, because a web app also stores information, and you can log in and you can sign up. So, but how do I do that? How do those complex code pieces work? For example, when I clicked on join now, why did that show me that pop-up which helped me to sign up? This is what engineers call backend code, which means, what's the logic, right? So I showed you the design, but what's the logic that is behind the scenes that no one else is seeing, but that's helping this app work? So whenever you click sign up on Facebook, or whenever you send a friend request, what actually happens in the background so that my friend sees a friend request? And that all happens in these logics and these workflows. And in code, you actually have to write really long pieces of code, like 1,000 to 2,000 lines of code to get this done. Here, I just do something as simple as, when this happens, do that. So when user is logged in and current user is approved, go to this page, or go to that page. Or if I click on continue, do this. If I click on join now, do this. So it's simple as like, when this happens, do that. So you don't have to write any code to do that. And then, but where do I store that data? I know the information that you just gave me, your sign up information. And when you come back, I should know that it's the same person, because when you put your username and password, I should know it's the same person. And that's what's stored in data, which is called database. Also, when you're learning code or you're learning computer science, this is something as very basic that you learn, that a database is a set of rows and columns. So it's just like Google Sheets or Excel, if you have used it. It's just a bunch of rows and columns in a table. So this is a table, and these are rows and columns which has all that data. So even if you send me your information, all your information is stored here. So this is the user, and these are the properties. This is the currency, this is the country, this is the name. So when you come in the next time, I know who you are. So that's it. That's as simple as that. And now you're ready to build your no-code web app, right? But it's not just as simple as this. You can also, what you can do, and what generally people in the no-code space do, is that they go and connect different kinds of no-code apps. So what has happened today is, instead of you sitting at one tool or one software and trying to write a lot of code, you can actually take, for example, if you want to use for one thing, you want to use one app, you use that, then you find that the other thing cannot be done on this tool. That's the limitation of this tool. So I can use tool number 2 and connect that. And now there are even apps that can connect different kinds of tools to do that. And I'll show you one really interesting app that I built that does exactly this. And I can show you how powerful no code can be. So let me go to, okay, here you are. By the way, before I go into this complex one, I want to show you another simple one. So this is something I built for the phone. So I'll try to show it in the size of phone. And it's a very simple app, right? And these are some ideas that you should be thinking of, that whenever you think of an idea, you don't have to code it. You can just go on a no-code app and try it out over a weekend. And this is something I built on a weekend, and I put it on Product Hunt, and I think it got like 84 upvotes, which is a lot. So it was, I think, number 3 product of the day that day. It's a very simple app. So, I was talking to a few folks because I wanted to meet them, and then suddenly what happened was that we spent the next 15 minutes, and it happens in everyone's life, right? We spend so much time trying to figure out where to meet, and what's the central location for everyone, because the city is big and no one wants to travel too much. So let's come to compromise and meet somewhere, which of course before the lockdown it was much easier to do that, but it's just really hard to do that, right? So I built a very simple app for that. So you go in here, and for example, I live in Bangalore. I live in a place called Hennur. So I'll put Hennur here. It will show me that address, and I add my address here. And let's say my friend is coming from this another place in Bangalore called Indiranagar. So I'll add Indiranagar here. Oh, let me add Indiranagar. Okay, so we see both addresses here. And maybe there's a third friend who's also coming and meeting us, and this friend lives in MG Road in Bangalore. Okay, so we're gonna add their address as well. Okay, 1 minute. Let's add this address. Oh, I want, yeah, let's say that they're in Command Hospital. That's where they live. So you can also use the map to figure out exact locations. Let's add this address. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so 3 of us, we're trying to figure out a place to meet. Now, where do you want to meet? I don't want to meet at the Chinese restaurant. Maybe let's just do coffee today. So we'll meet at a cafe. So this is my place of preference. I'm clicking on find a place that works for all. And great. Now I found a few cafes which are central to our location. So I use a little of maths. That's why maths is very important. So if you see the maths behind this, there's sine theta and cos theta and adding coordinates, because when you're trying to add coordinates, especially some of you who are interested in geography, or some of you who are interested in space, for example, where measuring distance between coordinates is not as simple as b minus a. You have to do a lot of things like do a sinusoidal and cos and all of that. So maths is good. So we figured out a few cafes here, and I say, maybe Kappa in 100 feet Nagar looks good. So I can locate this on the map, and I can see where this is on the map. I can zoom in and check the exact location. I can head out. I can also favorite this. So later on, if I want to meet someone in that area, I really like this place, so it lands up in my favorites. So all of this built over a weekend. Super simple. Again, the same app that I used. Everything is here. It has everything like sign in, sign up, the landing page that you saw. So landing page is the first page that you see for the app, for any app. That's called the landing page. So you can see Product Hunt, we got 82 upvotes. So all of this is visible here, right? And I just didn't put any code. It's just all these workflows, and I was done. And so very quickly, I'll show you one of my favorite, and this app was seen by a lot of people. So it was a very simple app, and that's why I'll also focus on that. When you're thinking no code coding, it's not just about coding, but you have to think from perspective of, is this something someone would use, from a business perspective or product perspective, and is this something that is actually coming from a problem? And this is an app that I built because there is an investor, he's a very famous investor called Andrew Chen from the Silicon Valley, and he went on Twitter and said that, I hate people who like to argue a lot on Twitter and try to troll me, and that's actually a real problem. There are so many trolls on Twitter, and you should stay away from them because they can be really harmful to you, especially mentally, and they can be harmful to people in general, and you need to stay away from them. But how do you know if this person is a troll? How do you know this person is someone who likes to argue? So what I did was I built a very small app. It's called Argumeter, and what it does is it tells a person how much you like to, any person on Twitter likes to argue. So I'm going to use my friend Adam Walker here, or maybe let's use Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or maybe Barack Obama. That's someone people like. And you can check any user who's on Twitter and go and see the Argumeter profile. So we have profiles like a saint. So Barack Obama is generally a saint on Twitter. So his comments are rarely, he comments rarely on people's tweets, and his moods tends to be always happy. So even the most negative tweet that he has ever done is this one. So when you vote, you have the power to make it easier for a student to afford college and harder for a disturbed person to shoot up a classroom. When you vote, you have the power to make sure a family keeps health insurance. So this was also still a very positive tweet. It didn't have anything really bad, but this is the most positive comment that he has made. So you can also see that. But there are some people who make really bad comments, right? And we put them into this category called street fighter. So we actually had like 4 categories. One was saint, one was pressure cooker. So someone who loves to comment, they don't even comment too much, but whenever they comment, it's very nasty. And street fighters are people who love to comment on everyone's posts, and the comments are generally nasty. And these are generally troll accounts, right? So this is a real problem that we faced. And this app is very simple. We use something called Glide Apps. So it already gives you the design. So you don't have to work on the design. Everything is drag and drop on the right side, as you can see. And the whole database is built on Google Sheets. So it's very simple. But how does this work? So someone who wants to, let's say I want to see someone's account. So I'll click on check another user. I'll put the Twitter account here, and it will put their Twitter profile in this list of profile requests in my Google Sheets. So this was the last one which was checked. And as soon as that happens, there's another app which is called Zapier, which connects all different apps. So I told you that you can connect different apps. The problem with Glide is that it cannot do much. It is really good with design, but I want to go to Twitter and find out all this person's comments. Now, how do I do that? There is another app to do that. It's called Parabola, which can do that. But I need to connect these 2 apps. So I need to connect my Google Sheet. I need to connect my my Parabola and my Glide. So how do I do that? I do Zapier, and I create, this is a Zapier workflow, so which helps you connect different apps. So as soon as there is a new spreadsheet row, and I know it's still a little advanced, but I'll still try to go slow. You could create a new spreadsheet row on Google Sheets. As soon as you see that new row has come in, someone has asked for this Twitter account, it will automatically, sorry, this was another one. Yeah, it will automatically send a request to Parabola, right? And then, and you can see this is something called a post request. So this is something you'll have to learn. It's still a little advanced. So it will send this to this username, to my Parabola. And let me open up the editor. And now you'll see something very complex. So although it's no code, it's still a lot of complexity. So you can see that there are so many workflows that I've connected. So it's as simple as I'm sending a request to this workflow. Okay, 1 minute. This zoom in, zoom out. It's not great. Yeah, so I'm sending a request to this workflow, and then it does a lot of these calculations and tries to get a person's. So it sends a request to Twitter and then gets all the comments of that person, all the tweets. Actually, what I do is I get all the previous 500 tweets of that person. Then I process this information, and it has something called sentiment analysis. Now, sentiment analysis is something that machine learning and AI people and who have lots of experience in terms of coding can actually do. And sentiment analysis, what it does, it tries to find out when you write something, is it something that's good? So if I say I'm sad, the sentiment is sad. If I say I'm happy, the sentiment is happy. So it can actually read whatever you have written and say what the sentiment is. Is it good or is it bad? So you can, in no code, you can simply just put the sentiment analysis block here and does that automatically for you. So I did sentiment analysis on all the tweets of this person. And then I try to filter out all the tweets. I also find out what's the worst tweet you have ever done to someone and what's the best tweet you have ever done. So that means the most positive and the most negative comment you have ever made. And in general, what's the average sentiment of your tweets? And then I send it back to my Google Sheets. And here my Google Sheets has this crazy amount of data that comes in. So I can see the average sentiment of each person. So Barack Obama is great. Michelle Obama is even better. Her sentiment is like 33, which is very positive. If a sentiment is negative, or very less, that means you do a lot of negative commenting. So Kezael is very negative. So you get all of this sentiment, and I get all of the tweets, and I just use this sheet to send information back to my Glide apps. And how do I do that? I don't have to do anything because Glide apps actually takes care of it. So if I go back, so it automatically, every time something comes into that Google Sheet, it automatically takes that person's profile, and I can go in and I can see what they have said or what they have not said, right? So it looks simple, but no code is still complicated. Like it can be built over a weekend, but you still have to understand. So that's the difference, right? You still have to understand the basics, the hygiene of computer science programming. You still have to understand how algorithms work, how front end works, how back end works, how databases work. You need to understand what is a good design. For example, I showed you good design stuff, but if you see, this is something I had built like long ago, and this is one of the worst designs I've ever done. This was for open mic registrations for comedians in Bangalore. And this was the worst, probably one of the worst designs I've ever done. You can see like black boxes and like no color, no design properly. I don't think it's even properly responsive. Responsive is that it can work on different sizes of screen, and you can see everything is getting just together. It just looks ugly, right? So you have to understand good UI and UX design. You have to understand, and here it says login above to register. That means there's not even a login button here that can show me the login pop-up. So I have to actually go and click here. This is not good design. This is not good workflow. I should have something right here. And that's what you like about a good app. So that's why it's important that you understand these basics of programming, basics of hygiene of building a product, building an app, even if you don't learn how to code. These are the basics that every programmer needs to learn. And I'll also show you 2 or 3 really interesting things, and then you can try them out later yourself. This is Teachable Machine from Google. And this is to just give you a taste of that machine learning and artificial intelligence can be done by anyone. You don't have to be a coder to do it. And people have created some really, really interesting projects using this. For example, someone actually created for a blind person, someone actually created a way to find out what that thing was that was in front of them. Also, you can see, for example, in this video here, there's a sorter, and it just sorts different marshmallows from some candy. It was a fun project, but it can be actually used to help people in need. It can be used in really innovative ways, and you have to think about how to use it. And it's very simple. All you do is you can say it's as simple as saying that if I show the computer picture and I show that computer that these are pictures of a dog, it can easily tell you if it's a dog or not. Or you can pose, and if you're a dancer, and it can also do machine learning on your poses. So you can say, is the right pose? So let's say you're learning Bharatanatyam and there's a pose you're trying to learn, and you want to see if the pose is right. So you can put pictures of that pose into this machine, and it will tell you if you're in the right pose or not. And same thing with audio. It can tell if the person's, and this is very useful, for example, blind people. You can train that this is the right person, and you can unlock their phone, or you can unlock something that's personal to them just using this. And it's as simple as click on get started. For example, I go to image project or audio project or post project. These are 3 kinds of projects you can do. And just upload all pictures of something. For example, these are all pictures of dog. These are all pictures of not dog, right? Or you can put hot dog if you want. Put all pictures of dog here, or you just put your dog in front of the web camera and roll him around so you can get many pictures of him, and put random pictures where there is no dog. And then once you train this, then any picture of your dog that you put, it will tell you if it's your dog or not. It's as simple as that. Another thing you should try is there's this really interesting escape hunt. So it's a game. And if you guys have ever gone through escape room games, and this is built actually on something called Landbot. So you can go to landbot.io and or just search for Landbot 3, no code apocalypse, and it will get you to this game. And this game is super interesting. I played it yesterday. It was a lot of fun. It was built over 3 weekends by the company Landbot. And it just shows you how can you use a chatbot to create an amazing experience yourself. So you should just try it out. And I've also built something called the no-code tool selector. This is something that even company founders are using right now to understand how to build tools for them. So what I've done is that if you want to build a web app, you want to build native apps, means Android or iOS apps, or a lot of things, you want to do e-commerce, you want to do game design. There's so many tools out there for them, but they're also at different levels. So Novice it's a very basic tool, and you will learn the basic things there. Intermediate, it's a little advanced level. And if you go to the Ninja, there are really advanced apps that you should not use until you have actually understood how to build like simple apps in a Novice or intermediate app. So you can try out this tool. I'll share this tool with everyone. And you can go and see a few tools you want to work out with. The only problem is that if you go ahead and try them out right away, you might not be able to build a great app. So you still need to understand the no-code basics. So you should probably do a course, on a basic course on no-code, and try to build something yourself in that basic course. Then you should go ahead and start trying out these apps, because if you really want to build great stuff on no-code, you cannot do by just going here. But I'll still share this with you all so that you can check this. Yes, and someone asked, is it Landbot 3? Yes, it's Landbot 3. And that's about it. Any questions? And we can take them right now. And I'll stop sharing my screen.
We have a few questions in the Q&A. You can check them out.
Sure. So someone said, I know JavaScript. That's great. If you know JavaScript, then it's amazing because you get an edge on no-code tools. One thing I want to make clear, no-code does not mean zero code. You can still build something on a no-code tool. And if you want to customize it further and make it even more complex, you can use things like JavaScript and put it on top of it so it becomes more complex. You won't believe that, but our company got acquired last year, and our whole product has been built on no-code and still built on no-code. and we're putting it out to thousands and thousands of startups and customers. And people can't tell the difference if it's code or no code, because it's not just no code, it's no code built with custom code around it. So knowing JavaScript is great. All right, and there's another question by Eliza Sheikh. She says, but this is how to edit, right? But I want to ask how to make it ourselves a new one. You can sign up. So the no-code tool selector that I just shared in chat, you can go there. You can pick any tool. The tool that I showed you was Bubble and Glide apps. You can go there, sign up, build your own app. That's one thing you can do. But you should definitely take a no-code course first. That will actually help you out on how to actually get started. Is this a future of coding, or will coding be a thing? So as I said, no code does not mean zero code. It is the future of coding, because 70% of the stuff that is being built on code is repetitive and is, quite frankly, does not need to be done on code. So 70% of the stuff can actually be done on no code, and the rest of the 30% customization, which is really advanced level, will still be done on code. With which app, Ganesh Raja said, with which app we can make a no-code website or an app. So this no-code tool selector that I sent, it has a no-code web apps, no-code websites, all of those things. So you can just check out the novice stuff first before you go into the advanced stuff. Can we publish the app from bubble.io? Yes, actually, our company's app and a bunch of other apps that I've built are all live. Some of them are Product Hunt, and they're all published. So you can do that. You can even get your own website and put your own custom domain there. Is Bubble free? Yes, it's freemium. Most no-code tools are freemium, which means it's free when you're trying to learn and you as a hobbyist. But when you actually try to build a business and you get a lot of users there, then you have to start paying for getting more users. For this website, do we have to sign up or upgrade or something? You can just sign up. Again, I said a freemium, it's free, try it out. But then when you become more advanced and you want advanced features, they will ask you to upgrade. Is bubble.io free? Yes, yes, and yes. Can we build an app through this way? Masuda Zareen said, can we build an app through this way and launch it in Google Play? Yes, there is a section in my no-code tool selector called native apps, and that's where you can get tools that will help you build apps for Google Play and iOS store. Which app are you using? Just check the no-code tool selector. How are you going to launch? Already launched a lot of apps, and that's why you should be taking a course, because building a product is not just about building the product, it's also about launching the product and marketing the product and building a business around it. So all of these things you should first learn before you actually go into building a product. How do I actually launch it?
I will have to interrupt you a little. I guess the questions are getting repetitive, and I guess I'm going to be addressing it in the further end of the webinar.
Sure.
So, yeah. Is there any other question apart from how you're going to launch and the apps that you're using?
Yeah, I see a few good questions here.
Yeah, sure.
So there is one which says, is there any drawbacks in using no code? And kindly explain its security factors. There are drawbacks in terms of when you're using no code and you're using one tool, that tool might have limitations, right? And you need to understand how much that tool can do. And that's why I showed you an app which had 3 or 4 multiple tools connected, because one tool couldn't do everything. So there are limitations, but there are ways to go around that limitation, right? And it's always much faster than building in code. There are security factors. All of these websites, whenever you sign up, if you're concerned about security, please go and check the privacy policy and terms and conditions first and read them. Don't just click on I agree, right? And they are GDPR compliant. They have great security. They all use Amazon Web Services like any other coder, but you still should be very, very careful when you're signing up for anything in life. Whenever you sign up, just read the terms. And the other one is there any syntax while using novice apps such as Bubble and Glide? Not much of syntax, but again, I said there's hygiene whenever you're trying to build something. So there's a way how you should put data. There's a way how you should put your design, and that's why probably taking a course on that would help you out. All right, I think those are all the questions, and I think I've answered them.
so
Up to you,
much.
Vidisha.
Thank you so much. That was a really great session. I guess I'm gonna share my screen now. Cool. All right. So I hope we learned a lot from Mr. Nazmu and how he explained us so much and all of that. Now, a lot of you are asking questions on what these apps are and if you can use it. Of course, you can. They're all public apps and public websites. You can go to any of these websites and start creating any of the app you want, any of the website that you want. But it's not so simple as he also showed you how he created a website and it was so basic. It did not have all the features that it should have. It was not user friendly and all of these things. And these are things that you need to learn. I mean, you know a lot about websites, you know a lot about how you would like it, but then again, there are some basics, there are some nuances that you need to be taught, right? That what button should come where, the accessibility of having things on the right, on the left, on the designing part of it is something that you need to learn. So there are majorly 4 steps in web development. There's structuring, designing, hosting, and building. Now, by structuring, we mean that you structure the website in the sense that you put on you use this is thing called wireframe, where you put in objects at one place. You decide where you are going to put in things and all of that. That's structuring for you. And apart from that, there's second step called designing, where you design the whole app, right? You understand what is supposed to be done, the color scheme of things, the buttons and all of that. Then there's hosting, right? Hosting is, a lot of you ask questions about how you launch the website, right? That's a part of hosting. You need to learn how to launch the website. Even if you've created one, how do you put it out for public to see? How do you put it out for a limited number of people to see? And all of that. Then, of course, there's actual building of the website. Once you're able to design it, once you're able to put a wireframe into it, you actually build the whole website. So there's a whole lot of process that goes into it. There are a lot of things that you need to learn. That's a part of web development. Similar goes for app development. There are again 4 basic steps for it, which is, first is logic and structure, right? And logic and structure, you decide the user flow of things, right? Now, in the user flow, you see how a user will be using it, like for from the first page to going to a subsidiary page and all of that. Then there is UI UX. UI UX stands for user interface and user experience designing. But according to the user, you're making things. According to the user, you're deciding how things will be. And this is what we saw in that website, where we saw now that login above to register. Now, this is not user friendly. This is not going to give your user a good experience. Instead, if the login button would have been there, it would have been much easier. All of those things. Then there's data scraping, right? Where you put the data, you work with the data in the back end. You store, for example, if it's an app like Zomato, all the restaurants that are linked to it, you put in their data, you put in the resources that you have, and all of that is a part of data scraping. Then you actually build the whole app that you're supposed to. So all of those things, I mean, definitely you can use any of these apps for your ease, at your ease, and explore while you go. But then there are a lot of things that you will not realize until somebody tells you, and this is what we are planning to do in the course. So we are going to have experts who will be telling you step by step that what is the best way of taking things forward, what is the best way of how you should be proceeding with things, right? Apart from that, we also have a course on entrepreneurship, where we tell you a lot of things about entrepreneurship in the form of problem solving, product development, business model making, and pitching it to investors and angel investors and startups and all of that. So this was about us. I guess I'll take a few questions now. We have a few questions. All right. I guess I'll stop sharing my screen now. Okay. Yeah, so I have a few questions. Where could we learn more about no code? Here only at Edenu, we're providing you a course of no code, and which is why we're holding this webinar for you. And also, like, it's not just website and apps that you can make here. You can start your own blog. If you're good at art, dance, or anything of the sort, you can make a website for yourself that has literally your name on top of it and showcases your idea, showcases your talent, and anything of the sort. That is what you can use your website for, your app for, or anything of your choice. Which app to prefer for beginners? That is also what we're going to tell you in the course, and you can also refer to what Mr. Nazbu told us. How could we learn more? This I've answered. Are all the apps that were shown are free? Some of them are, some of them are not. Some of them may require you to pay something, but some of them may require you to pay something in the end. I guess that's what we've answered. Where can we get bubble.io? This is something. What is the best app for creating video editing apps? All of these things can be told to you in the course. And yeah, let me just check the chat box once. All right. Yeah. So that's about it. And I will hand it over to you, Nimi, now. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That was really, really informative. I'm sure, like me, everyone else enjoyed that session. Can you all show me with a thumbs up on the chat if you guys had fun? Okay, while the rest of you are doing that, I just want to because I know we are done with the time. If any of you have questions on how to sign up, basically, it's very simple. We're going to be sending now a follow-up email to all the people who joined the webinar. So we'll be using the same email address you used to register for the webinar with. So make sure that you check that email before tomorrow morning, and there'll be a link to register. The programs are superbly priced. They are really intensive, and there's a real takeaway at the end of the week. So I suggest everybody join them for getting that extra bonus points this summer. Since we all couldn't do anything, let's at least build our skill set. So the link to join will be on those emails, so keep an eye out for them. And thank you so much for all the thumbs up and these signs. What is this called? A-class signs that I am seeing on the chat. Thank you, everyone. So that's it from all of us. That's it from Edenu. That's it from the Explorers Lab. Have a great evening. Thank you, Smriti, for your nice comment, and you're very welcome. And to all the other girls, I'm going to keep it on because I'm liking seeing the thumbs up. Thank you all. So yes, so in about 60 seconds, we'll close the meeting. And again, like I said, if you are interested, keep waiting in your inbox, and we shall enter your inbox very soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.